go.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Masters Fantasy Show, brought to you by MastersFantasyFootballLeagues.com. As always, I'm joined by the Masters crew, Dynasty Owl, the Doc. What's up, guys? How you doing today?
Fantastic.
Pretty good, yeah.
Good stuff to hear, man. It's a beautiful day to be alive. Today we're going to be talking about 3 wide receivers in redraft that we're not drafting at their current ADP. Before we jump into it, man, if you could hit the like and subscribe button, come be a part of the Masters family. We'd love to have you. With that said, I'll kick this over to you guys. Whichever you guys want to go first. Wide receiver, you're not drafting in ADP leagues, in redraft leagues at their current ADP. Floor's all yours.
So I'll kick us off if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm just going to start right at the top with first receiver off the board in most leagues, and that's because he was by far the best receiver last year, and that's Devante Adams. Obviously, the biggest factor in this is the Aaron Rodgers news and uncertainty. I mean, I don't want to guess where he's going to end up and all that, but my feeling is it's more likely than not he's not taking snaps for Green Bay next year. Would you guys agree, disagree?
I'm leaning that way.
I mean, maybe 60-40, but so, I mean, even call it a true 50-50 chance. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers is not the starting quarterback for Green Bay, Devante Adams is not my wide receiver one.
Yeah.
Even if Aaron Rodgers is there the full year, yeah, he could repeat what he did last year, which was phenomenal and definitely won you a league. But right now, I mean, you're draft him as the wide receiver one. That's his ceiling, and we know guys don't repeat that often, hardly ever, really. Now that's not a reason to fade him. But the uncertainty with Aaron Rodgers is enough for me. On top of that, he's had injuries in the past. Last year was pretty healthy, obviously put up huge numbers, but I don't know. I'm staying away from Devante Adams until he drops like outside the top 3 receivers, and I don't see that happening anytime soon still, so yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great take, Al. And, it's fair to guess, like, what happens if Rodgers is gone? Like, how far does Devante Adams fall? Like, how far does he fall off in terms of stats, too? I mean, because I don't know who they would be able to put in a quarterback that would be able to hit him the way Rodgers hit him and as frequently as he hit him, too. So it's something to keep an eye on for sure. I mean, I don't even know if Rodgers is gone, where do you take him? I know it's a little off topic here, but, like,
I mean, I still
what's the earliest you take Devante Adams? If we'll say Jordan Love's his quarterback, or, I mean, Blake Bortles is the only other one on the roster right now.
I would still probably draft him as like a low-end wide receiver one. So I don't want to get into like rounds, but I mean, still probably like around the 10th best receiver for me.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe just right outside of the top 10.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Just based on how good he has been.
Right. And that's kind of what I said. What I think is crazy is he's still going, for sure first, second, third receiver. And, I mean, most people think Aaron Rodgers is not going to be there. Then we talk about how far he would fall.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to me, I just feel like his ADP is not in line with the Rodgers odds.
I would agree with that.
And I think it's easy with the question of Rodgers, like, take any of these other guys that are close to him that have their stud quarterback in place.
Yeah.
Give me Diggs with Allen.
Tyreek and Mahomes.
Tyreek with Mahomes.
Hopkins and
Murray. Any of those situations. I think there's a few other ones you could start to consider,
DK
too.
and Russ. Yeah, I mean, the list goes on, honestly.
Yeah,
so, I mean, I'm probably right outside of the top 10 or right in that area. All right, so I'm going to move on to my guy. He's actually a guy that's being drafted, I mean, really high, too. And that's A.J. Brown. I know me and you got into a little – we were going back and forth about A.J. Brown.
Misunderstanding is all.
Yeah, no, just having some fun.
Right, yeah.
And honestly, he had said – I was going to use him for a different show, and he was like, A.J. Brown is being drafted really high. So I was like, let me go look in the 2 redraft leagues we had. I was shocked, man. In the one – he's the 2.4 pick,
and Hopkins was the 2.5 in that one.
He was after him. The number 4 overall receiver, and the other one was he was the 2.7, the wide receiver 6.
Yeah.
And I'm like scratching my head about that, man. I understand the hype, and I understand in dynasty leagues, bottom line is though the guys finished like 27th. I think it's 24th in his rookie year, 17th last season. If you ask me, this offense is taking a step back this year. And I understand everybody's looking at it like, well, he's the lone guy. He's going to get peppered with targets. I don't see it that way, man. Honestly, I'm worried about this offense overall. I think this is a case where, like, guys are buying the hype as opposed to the production once again. There's a lot of guys behind him that have already cracked into the top 10, have a better quarterback in a better situation. Right. So for me, I mean, I'm fading them that early. That's too much. Strength of schedule again, something else I want to throw out. They got quarterback 24th hardest strength of schedule, wide receiver 21. I think you combine the two, minus Corey Davis, minus Jonnu Smith. I think that offense takes a big step back. I think the best case scenario for the Titans is going to be a run, and play defense. I'm worried about Corey Davis. He will not finish top 5 this season, and that's where he's being drafted.
Yeah, I love the prospect, and I mean the dude's a beast. But yeah, I mean the fact that he's going to pick before DeAndre Hopkins, who's in the prime of his career and done nothing but put up top 5 wide receiver seasons, compared to a guy who's never done it. Just it's silly. You're drafting with your heart and not your mind. You know, like you got to believe in the numbers. It's a numbers game. So.
Yeah, I think you could make the argument, sure, he's poised to keep going forward, but I think, JK's points are a lot better than just like, well, he's trending upwards. I mean, yeah, you lost all of the other guys on that offense that were worth anything. Tannehill doesn't really strike me as a guy who's going to force feed A.J. Brown targets. And I love A.J. Brown, but yeah, I'm with you. I just don't really see it, especially in redraft, to be taken that early. And at the end of the day, the one thing that they're going to do is give Derrick Henry the ball 35 times a game.
For sure.
The clock's going to be running a lot. The pace is going to be slow. Not a ton of plays. Not a ton of.
And not to mention, A.J. Brown struggled with injuries too his first couple of seasons. So, I mean, it's all things you got to keep into account. And I'm with you, J.K. It doesn't really seem to add up with where he's being drafted.
And it's hard because I want to be clear. Like, I don't hate A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking redraft this year. Yeah. It's try to sit there and build a case against the guy.
Right.
I mean, I understand his future could be bright. Yeah. For this season, man, I'm just not feeling that ADP at all.
Yeah, dynasty-wise, that's fine.
That's fine.
Right.
But redraft, I mean, that's high, man.
This is a line from another dynasty podcast I listen to, but they say, I don't hate players, I hate ADPs, and that's the case. Right? I mean, we love A.J. Brown, but we do not like his ADP.
Yeah, absolutely.
Buying the hype, man, not the production.
All right, so I'll finish this up here, and it hurts me to say this because I really do love this guy, but my pick is Mike Evans. In these two drafts, he was 4.5 and 4.8, which shocking to me. Very shocking, especially seeing Chris Godwin at the top of the 4th round, I think in both drafts too. For them to be that close, that's way off, first of all. I don't think they should be anywhere near each other in terms of ADP. Second, I mean, if you watched the Buccaneers last year, it's a very clear difference in how these guys are utilized with Tom Brady as the quarterback. As much as I love Mike Evans, I feel like he is one of the more underrated receivers in the league. I mean, they utilized him more as, a jump ball kind of red zone threat, and he was pretty touchdown dependent at times. And plus, he benefited from Godwin missing a lot of time last year, and even when Godwin was out, he still didn't get a ton of targets. Yeah. I mean, it's just the way these guys are used in the offense, I don't see that changing. Godwin's going to eat a lot of the targets. He's going to be the consistent guy. Which, by the way, his value is really good 4th round. That's incredible. I'm all over that one as well. But, yeah, as much as I love Mike Evans, I just don't really see the value in him going mid-4th round for a guy that's real touchdown dependent and isn't the number one option on his team. I just don't like it at all, and I think he's being drafted way too high.
Yeah, I agree a lot. I mean, so many of Mike Evans' fantasy points came from touchdowns inside the 3-yard line, which, I mean, he can – I don't want to say repeat, but he can still do that this year. But another thing we didn't talk about either is AB's back, and this time for the whole year.
Yeah, that's
we
the
saw
other
that
thing
chemistry come on late. I think AB is going to have some sneaky value and catch a lot of passes. So, between Godwin and AB, Mike Evans is still going to get targets, still going to get red zone targets, but just not at that ADP.
Yeah, that was actually my other big point that I completely forgot to mention. So thank you. Yeah.
And a lot of those games were when Godwin was either out or hobbled.
Yeah, so he was playing hurt a lot.
And one thing when you bring up AB and Gronk, and I mean, to me, like, all those guys are kind of connected to Tom Brady too. Like, in one way or another, he's responsible for him being there.
Yeah.
So to me, I mean, you have to hit him with targets. You have to.
And then you bring in
who'd they bring in at running back?
Gio Bernard.
Yeah,
Gio Bernard's gonna get targets.
Yeah, I don't feel too great about that situation.
Should have been James White, man.
It should have been.
It still makes me so mad.
What could have been?
All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this edition. 3 wide receivers we're not drafting. Thanks so much for watching. If you could, hit the like and subscribe button. Come be part of the Masters family. Love to have you. Redrafts every Wednesday and Sunday the rest of May, starting every day of June 1st. Any last words?
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.